Joining me right now is one of the best bantamweights in the world, George Bardawil. What's going on?
How are you, man? I'm good.
Good. Before I start talking about, your team at TriStar Lebanon, I wanted to ask you about how you got started in MMA.
Yeah, I started in Desert Force Academy. I was in the reality show, and I won the season two, and that's how I started. So it was a great experience. It was 32 fighters from all Arabs world, and I won the first place.
Talking about that show, the Desert Force show, you being so young and starting
Yeah.
your career, how was it
Yeah.
having all those cameras filming you and, following you around? What was that feeling like?
Yeah, it was the greatest experience I have ever had. I was 20 years old and a lot of stress and pressure and everything. But thanks God, I won. And it was hard. It was hard because everyone was better than me. I was the underdog, and at the end, I won the title, and I proved to everyone that I'm the best.
For sure. Now, you debuted at Desert Force 14. You won your first four fights, finished all of them. You looked very, very impressive. Then you went over to European Beatdown 1. You faced
Yeah,
Peter Lilliger, and you
literally,
dropped
Jamie.
a unanimous decision, right? What did you learn from that fight? Because you were doing so well in the beginning of your career.
Yeah, I made a huge mistake. I'm not gonna make any excuse, but I cut like 9 kilos in less than 18 hours. That was the biggest mistake that I ever had. But every mistake is a lesson, so that's why I never lose. I learned a lot from this mistake, and after this fight, I always stay fit and I stopped cutting weight. And now I'm 100% fit. And after that loss, I won in less than a minute my two fights.
Yes. In the fight, though, what did you learn from facing an opponent? Because that was like the most experienced opponent you had so far in your career.
I had no energy in that fight. I was so tired. I told you it was a big mistake cutting 9 kilos in less than 16 hours. But I learned a lot, and he was dominating me on the ground. And after that fight, I worked a lot on my wrestling skills and my ground game, and now I'm way better than before.
Yeah, speaking of your ground game, after that fight, 2017 was a very good year for you. You won the EFC championship with the submission in under a minute. Then you went off and fought as a featherweight at CFC 4, and you choked him out too. Now, in your last fight, you fought at featherweight. Was that something that you want to do later on, or is it what? Why did you fight at featherweight?
Well, I supposed to fight on bantamweight, but he was injured, so I took the fight. I took the fight with another guy on the featherweight division, and I finished him. Well, yeah, I want to fight on the featherweight division, but now I'm moving on to the bantamweight in Brave.
All right, now, of course, you are spectacular. That's why Brave signed you. But why did you sign with Brave?
Well, Brave is one of the best organizations all around the world, and I want to prove to everyone that I'm here for real. I'm not just fighting an Arab world, and I'm gonna show the world how strong I am, what I'm capable of, and I'm gonna do a great show, a great performance. And 13 April gonna come, and I'm gonna show everyone.
If you could explain to people that have never seen you fight what type of fighter you are, how would you explain yourself?
Well, I'm a complete fighter. I can fight on the ground. I can strike with my opponent. So I go with the flow in the fight. I put many situation, and when the fight comes, if they want to strike with me, I'm ready to strike. If you want to go on the ground, I'm ready to go on the ground. I'm ready for everything.
April 13th, Brave 11, you make your promotional debut against Carlos Soares. Now, what do you think of him as an opponent? Because he is a pretty exciting guy.
Yeah, he finished like 7 fights, I think, but he did like 3 or 4 comeback. He was losing, and then he won. Uh, well, he's a good fighter, but I'm not afraid of any of his weapons because his striking is not that much, and his grappling too. I'm well prepared, and I think it's gonna be a great fight, but I'm gonna finish him for sure.
You have a lot of submission finishes. He also has almost most of his fights are submission wins. Do you see this fight going to the ground, or do you see a stand-up battle?
Well, I'm ready to go wherever you wanna go, but I have no idea, man. I don't know what his plan. If he's gonna take me to the ground, and he don't know nothing about me, so it's gonna be a surprise.
For sure. Now with him, you're going to Brazil. You're fighting in his country. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm so excited for that because I already did that in many country, and when I step in the cage, everyone was like boo and all these shits. And when I finished, everyone was like supporting me and enjoying the fight. So that's what's gonna happen.
Is
I'm gonna do
Brazil
a great performance. I'm gonna do a great show. I'm gonna shock everyone.
is Brazil one of those countries that you've always wanted to fight in?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The first time, and I'm so excited to go to Brazil. And I want to thank Brave for this great opportunity.
Now, for this camp, how long have you been in camp, and who have you been working closely with?
Well, I'm in TriStar Gym Lebanon, and I was in Geneva with the pioneer, the legend, Beltrán Musso, with Carla Musso also. And I did a training camp there with my teammate George Eid. And now I'm in Lebanon, and I'm 100% ready. I trained with a lot of fighters, with the best fighters all around the world. So I'm 100% ready. It's the best time to fight now.
You said you went to Geneva. Was there anything in particular that you focused on when you were training over there?
Well, I trained everything, nothing specific, but I told you I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to strike, to go on the ground. I faced a lot of fighters, of grapplers, of strikers, so I can't wait.
What does it mean for you to represent the Arab world, right? Because you're going to Brazil now, you're representing the Arab world. What does it mean to you as a fighter?
Well, it's an honor for me because maybe not everyone know my country, Lebanon. So I'm gonna represent Lebanon, and my flag gonna shine.
And of course, the champion, Brave CF champion, the bantamweight champion is Stephen Loman. If you could give him a message, because you know you're starting your career in Brave, he's the champion right now. Of course, you want to meet him eventually to fight him. What would you get if you could give him a message? What would you tell him?
I'm just gonna say to him, the king is here.
All right, thank you, George, for your time.
Okay, thank you. See you there.